welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy. At the request of Patreon subscriber Michael, I'm revisiting Plow under Beans. This is basically just a up the Beanstalk Bant control deck. Only 3 colors here. No nonsense, no domain. We're not trying to do leyline binding. There's no splash color in the sideboard, no 4th Aerlingus. This is just Bant. And this is closer to a Loam Bant deck than how decks are constructed in the current days. Even though a lot of these 4-color or 3+ color Bant control decks do play a Life from the Loam, that's mostly just to mitigate versus enemy wastelands. But the builds that have a wasteland package of their own, Caracas, Meticulous Archive, Hedge Maze, Field of the Dead, Mystic Sanctuary, especially Field of the Dead though, this is a sign that we're actually using our lands for serious business. This is much closer to a deck that would have been built 2 years ago. And it's still powerful. I like this throwback technology, still working hard. The big thing this deck is doing is it's got a Plow Under in it, which it's just 1 card, which is the responsible number if you're going to do it at all. 3 GG sorcery, put 2 target lands on top of their owner's libraries. This thing is devastating from back in the day. If you ramp into this at all, like Llanowar Elf, turn 3 Plow Under, that game is over. And though that's not really our plan here, this is a powerful tool for an endgame where if the game is close or we're slightly behind or if we're ahead at all, Plow Under smashing 2 lands to the top of their deck. Because this is better than 2 Stone Rains. They have to draw those 2 lands again over the next 2 turns. You force your opponent to brick off on lands while also denying them 2 resources in play. Plus, it costs 5. If you're triggering Beanstalks, you're starting to get into Cruel Ultimatum territory with the effect of this card. And a thing that was not present in the first build of this deck that I realized halfway through the league would have been insane is Mystic Sanctuary. Plow Under is a sorcery. You could get back Plow Under with Mystic Sanctuary. You could plow your opponent under twice, or you could set up a loop where you plow under one of their lands and your Mystic Sanctuary, and then that Mystic Sanctuary can get back Plow Under and trigger Beanstalk every other turn. I don't know if that's good. Probably just plowing your opponent under twice is good enough, but Mystic Sanctuary, welcome to the game. Rest of the deck, like I said, pretty simple stuff. Straight Bant, no domain, no splash colors in the sideboard, no 4th Aerlingus, and we're just going to win with the best color wedge in Magic. Let's do it. This is Plow Under Loam Bant. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a hand that's a little clunky, but that's okay. It's got a Brainstorm, Swords of Plowshares, bunch of selection in it. Just hope we don't die on turn 1. Blue to Delta. And we didn't die on turn 1. Good job, boss. Alright, Force of Will's a little extra protection. I'm going to go with Meticulous Archive here. Prismatic Ending. I don't think I want this against the average Polluted Delta deck. If this is Grixis Delver, I might have some regrets here. But if this is Doomsday, Storm, even Rescaminator, Prismatic Ending's not that good. Getting Hedge Maze. Are we actually a bug deck, or is this some mono blue mana base that Polluted Delta is a decoy? Multiple deltas. Alright, this might be Sultai Beans. I should expect Orcish Bowmaster here, or at least acknowledge the likelihood of it. I've got a Swords to Plowshares and a Force of Will. Teferi lines up pretty poorly against that card specifically, but I am excited to play with Teferi in a control deck again. He's kind of fallen way out of favor, mostly because of Bowmaster. Brainstorm in the end step. I can Brainstorm in response here. This is a spot where they're not going to Bowmaster me. Field of the Dead's a long way off from being what I want to be doing. And I did just identify Prismatic Ending as a card that might not be very good, but if they are Sultai Beans, that can exile their Beanstalk, which I do actually like a lot. If not fetch their Brainstorm, just redrawing a card off Brainstorm with 7 cards in your hand. None of those cards were bad. Oh my god. Okay, they might be trying to stifle me. I'm not trying to redraw these cards, though. I'm going to fetch. It is a stifle. I really don't want to 2-for-1 myself here, but Stifle's really good. Okay, well, that changes things, because I'm not casting Teferi anymore. I'll just Hedge Maze, smooth out my draw. Brainstorm, I will keep that around. I like a Brainstorm, as we well know. And I'll play out the Tropical Island. They're cracking some fetches in my end step. This might be the Bowmaster. It is indeed. Now I can Brainstorm in response to this to make sure the Brainstorm gets cast, or I could let it resolve Swords to Plowshares it without playing into Daze at all. I think I'm going to just Plow it, because I do have another white removal spell in my hand. If they Force of Will this, that would be crazy aggressive, though. Looks like they're thinking about it. That was a long pause. Okay, Bowmaster's answered, though. That is a Swords to Plowshares that I would have liked to point at a Murktide Regent. Consider. Interesting. This is the second league in a row where I've seen Consider in just kind of fair blue decks, which is unusual, but it does make sense in decks that are trying to delve really hard. I had to use my Force Will 100 years ago. Don't have one for the Beanstalk. I have Prismatic Ending. I think I want to start with Brainstorm and see what I could come up with here. This is too many basic planes in a hand. Ooh. Oh. Interesting. Well, I do suddenly have a route to a bunch of basics if I want to get on back to basics. I have all of them here. Okay, I think I'm going to put back Snow Plains and Prismatic Vista. And then I'm going to try to Prismatic Ending the Beanstalk. I'm just more worried about Beanstalk than anything else right now. They did have the Force, and they did have the Daze as well. I was right to play around the Daze, and my hesitation, or their hesitation around my removal spell on their Bowmaster last turn was also a correct read. I was pretty sure they had Force, which is why I didn't want to just run out back to basics. Even if they stick a Beanstalk and I don't, back to basics could just cheese this game for me. And suddenly a basic island, just from hand, didn't even fetch for that or anything. And this is going to be a Murktide Regent, which means I'm going to have to fetch, and back to basics is not going to be any part of the plan. My list does only have 3 Beanstalks in it, which is kind of a hedge against really fast matchups, and also an acknowledgement to the fact that this deck's full of other engines with the Field of the Dead and all of that. All right, fetch in the end step. I think I'm still going to get basic island, though, because this back to basics is in my hand. If I just draw, well, there's that. If I just draw a Swords to Plowshares at some point, oh, this is so risky, but I'm in. All right, I'm going to slam back to basics. I'm going to show them this card, which I'm likely to board out because it's just not very good against tempo decks. All right, they had 2 Forces anyway. All right, flush to Force with that was actually a pretty good exchange on it, all things considered. There is a main deck Supreme Verdict. I would love to find it here. This Beanstalk's just up 3 cards already. Huge advantage. Oh my god, it's up 4 cards. All right, well, I'm going to F6 and hope to draw a Supreme Verdict. There is one in here. I'm not lying to you. And I have my Ponders and Brainstorms are relooks at that. All right, I'm at 4. Here we go. Supreme Verdict. Up the Beanstalk. Could still be a Supreme Verdict. White, white, blue. All right. I think I'm going to play out the Forest and use that to cast Up the Beanstalk. There's no land I could draw here that would be useful. It has to be Verdict. Nope. All right, we're dead. Yeah, they got 4 cards off their Beanstalk while I didn't have anything of the sort going on. Makes perfect sense we'd lose that one. Carpet of Flowers coming in. Paradox Zone a consideration. Veil of Summer coming in. Good against Bowmasters. And P-Zone up for consideration. Force of Vigor only actually hits Beanstalk out of Sultai Beans. They might have Carpets of Flowers, but they're not going to have like Leyline Bindings. This is a deck that can beat back to basics. They can either be ahead of it on board, they could just fetch a basic and play on that. Even, like, this is really only for hyper-specific matchups, which is why I don't like it that much in the metagame anymore. But there it is. Getting the cut here. I do like Endurance. I do like Teferi. Solitude's great. I could get slimmer on Force of Will. I don't want 0 because I'm still a Bean deck, and they're still a deck that's going to be casting their Beans. I like Loam because they're a Wasteland deck. I could cut Caracas. This is a wastable mono white source. I still have 23 lands in the deck. Wastable mono white source against a deck with no legends. They might have Leovold, but that's not a legend I want to be Caracasing. That makes 3. Do I want the P-Zone in the zone? Do I want to be in that zone. I can't cut another land here. I could, but I'm not gonna. Alright, I'm not gonna go in the zone. Solitude can win this game if we get to that phase. Super risky, but I am gonna keep. Risky against Wasteland specifically. But Archive gets another look. If I untap with Archive, I get to Brainstorm. If Archive just sees a green source, I'm in the Beanstalk. A lot to like about this, and one thing to dislike. Archive, Basic Plains. I actively do not want Basic Plains. It doesn't help cast any spell in my hand, and I want green or blue sources moving forward. And binning a land might even convince them to not waste me, even if they could. They're like, oh, okay, he doesn't need lands here. Bummer. All right. I am going to play my Wasteland and pass right now. Okay, so do they want to get a basic island at this point? Probably not, but it seems like they have to. There's a consider. They kept their card. I'm going to Brainstorm now, so they can't Bowmaster it, and I don't even have to think about that. Moment of truth. Is there a green source in this Brainstorm? There is, but it's tapped. Okay. Better than nothing. I'm going to put back Solitude and one of the Beanstalks. Oh, I should have put back an Uro, because I'm going to Surveil. Damn it. I could have put Uro directly into the graveyard. That was a spew. Wasn't seeing the entire board there. Yeah, that would have been insane. Just get through the Brainstorm a turn earlier, put Uro where you want it. Big whiff. And now I have to bin a Solitude. Or try to draw through it over multiple turns. Right, you've got a Wasteland. Not attacking my white source yet. Okay, this sucks really hard because if they waste my green source, I'm in even more trouble. But I could Wasteland their Wasteland to save the green source. But then they waste my Archive and they get a 2-for-1 basically. And then I can't cast Beanstalk next turn anyway, unless I spike a land. Okay, they are going after my white. All right, cool. Let's hope they don't have two of those. Oh, it seems they don't have any of those. Okay. Untapped land to play around days? Yeah, we did it. Okay, sick. That worked out very well. If they have Stifle and Daze, they can still counter this and get a pretty big blowout. Force of Negation pitching Murktide. I have another Beanstalk in hand, so I'm not going to force here. I can just play my card. Accept that Hymn to Turok deal. And we'll see what next turn looks like. I do want a Beanstalk in play. Eventually. Here we go. I will fight over this one. Force of Will pitching Daze. Force of Will pitching Uro. How do we do? We're in there. Rip the island, so don't even have to think about Stifle for this Ponder. Veil of Summer, Solitude, Prismatic Ending. I don't need Prismatic Ending, but I'll take Veil and Solitude. Uh-oh, they're in. They're playing the game. This doesn't fetch basic Swamp, though, if their deck even has one. Yikes. All right, well, they are right back on board here. I don't think I want Solitude anymore. And now that they've tapped out of that, it sucks because I have this Uro, but I would also like stable access to white mana. So fetching that plane sets Uro back a turn. It's kind of what I got right now. I'm going to use this Wasteland to cast Uro. That leaves up Plow, and I have this other Wasteland in my hand. Wasteland. Take out your Trop. Uro's gone. Kind of a weird game settling in here. Screw beats Flood, though, and if they dig out of this and start drawing cards, I'll be behind pretty quickly. They're passing without a play. There's that Solitude. All right, looking for lands that cast Uro, and I found multiple of them. This is actually great. I'm just going to take the Brainstorm and get all these lands set up immediately. Put back. Do I need basic forest here? I don't think they can afford to Wasteland me even if they draw it. I'm going to put back Forest and Solitude. Then I can just redraw the Solitude if I want to, but if they're not making land drops and not presenting threats, that's not a priority. Edge Maze. They found a land, kind of. ETB tapped. Wasteland going nuts here. Do I want Solitude in my hand? Yeah, I'll bank it. Just put it there. Ready whenever. Tropical Island. Fetch. Mystic Sanctuary. Does that make sense here? I could put Force of Will on top of my deck. That doesn't actually help right now, though. Yeah, just Tundra's fine. I'm going to Wasteland them first so they can't Daze Uro and try to pick up Hedge Maze. I do have a Life from the Loam in my deck and a Mystic Sanctuary. Just got to think about both of those when I'm exiling cards here. Okay, Force of Will, exiling, Murktide Regent, draw a card. All right, well, I can refire that again next turn. If I draw a green source, I have Veil of Summer protecting the Uro. Brainstorm, uh-oh. This could change everything very quickly. They've been clinging to life this long. Wow, a miss. Okay, we're in here. Field of the Dead, you don't say. Well, I'm going to refire Uro. Just leave 2 lands and a Force of Will in my graveyard. They've got another Force of Will over there. All right. Pitching another Murktide Regent. You out of win cons yet? That redraws one of the Brainstorm cards. It does help them through a little bit. That is 3 Murktide Regents in exile. And 1, 2, 3 Force of Wills in the graveyard. They only have 1 of each of those left. Field of the Dead. Now any fetch land is a clock. And I've revealed my other plan. They've got a land. All right, deck. Now is the moment of truth. Can we make something happen? Kaplow! Zombos, baby. Now Uro's not even the plan anymore. I got Veil of Summer, Solitude, Swords of Plowshares, Field of the Dead, humming. Fetching in the upkeep. Another Beanstalk. I'll fetch in response to this. Do I want Force of Will in my hand? Yeah, I think so. Target Force of Will. I have a Beanstalk in play. Lots of mana to cast this thing. I'm not going to do it right now, but I feel like I'm in good shape to make that investment. Looted Delta. Even something like a Murderous Cut on a zombie token that was generated for free now draws 2 cards. It's got to be aware of what we're doing here. They're down to 1 Murktide Regent, all 4 Bowmasters still in there. I can cast Force of Will, Swords of Plowshares, and Veil of Summer in a turn, or Solitude plus Veil of Summer. Hooties, okay. Alright, they got Hooties in the deck. Okay, that explains the Consider. A little more understanding of that now. Do I care about Hoots? No, I got multiple Swords of Plowshares effects in my hand. I do care about that double cantrip quite a bit. Wasteland, that's really good. Take out my field. I'll respond to that with Solitude. They might Bowmaster here, but I can Veil of Summer. Alright, they didn't Bowmaster. Lots of Plows now. Light up your Hooties. Field of the Dead's gone. Loam's still in my deck somewhere. An island. Might as well play it. Battle. Interesting if they Bowmaster here instead of any other time that could have happened. I can force the Bowmaster. I think this card is more annoying than basically anything else that could happen. Okay, yeah, just take that out. They're at 6, dead on board. Another Hoots. So many cards. Consider. Been to Beanstalk. Correctly realize that that's not the axis they need to perform on anymore. They're already winning that game. They're losing the life total game, though. Murderous Cut. I'm going to Veil of Summer in response to that. Hope they don't have another Force of Will. Alright, sick. Yeah, that actually counters their spell and draws me a card. Hexproof from black. That also means Swords of Plowshares resolves here, which does put them back up to 10, but at least clears the way for me to keep attacking. And now I get a big old Brainstorm here. Force of Will, a couple of lands. I could play Uro. I put back land and... What am I worried about here? Put back land and Force of Will. Then green, green, blue, blue. I'm going to play Uro. Redraw the Force of Will. Which I guess doesn't make sense because I can't play it. Yeah, I probably should have shuffled first. Uro's in, though. Now we've got a Big O on the squad. Opponent's at 3. Alright, they're just scooping. Cool. That was fun. I'm so tempted by this P-Zone. If we grind into another spot like that, the zone is bonkers. But what am I cutting for it? I could cut an Uro. If the game gets grindy, you don't need a lot of Uros. It is nice to have one, though. Teferi is bad against Bowmaster and good against everything else their deck does. I think I have faith in Teferi. I'm gonna let him stay. He's on notice, though. I got my eye on you. If you're bad, I'll board you out forever. Okay, I got beans in my opening grip. Thinking about those beans. Going to mold to 6, so I'm up 2 cards to start the game. But I am behind their dazes. Flooded Strand. I hope to get Hedge Maze with this, but it's going to depend on what they do with their turn, obviously. They're getting a Hedge Maze, showing me how it's done. Into Hooties. Brainstorm. Still can't fetch. I suspect they have more Wastelands than they have Stifles. Until they commit a land drop, I gotta choose my spots here. It was a Wasteland. Look at you. Well, I can't get Hedge Maze. I could fetch. All right. I'm going to see if I can come up with a basic forest, and I could not. I could just lean in here and get 2 non-basics, or I could fetch Tropical Island basic forest and start building out basics with the bean in play. Or not basic forest, basic island. That's what I meant. Basic forest is what I wanted. All right, fetch a trop. Or I could play around Daze by just basic island ponder this turn, or even Brainstorm could be better than that. Yeah, I'm going to Brainstorm. All right, yeah, this is kind of unfolding live in front of you, which is fun, but also a wild ride for me. I'm going to ponder here off my other basic island. I'm looking for basic forest. I think if I can get that in, I'll be so stable. And if they want to daze me picking up a tap land, have at it. Wow, okay, deal. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, Hedge Maze just right back down, taking that card selection. Into Murktide, 1 down. Basic Forest off the top. Easy game. Force of Will. Okay, well, I can win a fight over... Nope, don't have a blue card. Man, tough crowd. I'm going to cast Beanstalk, though. All right, Tropical Island, you're up. Do the thing. They probably have a force in their hand. They showed me in game 2 that they even boarded in Forces of Negation here. Just snapping off Wasteland in response in case I'm a Daze deck. What? I don't know what that's for. But okay. All right, they're just showing me they're mad at me for resolving a Beanstalk. And there's my basic forest. I'm fully set up on basics. Like 1 play after it really matters. But the Beanstalk resolving is huge. Wow, okay. Looks like they're missing a land drop again. And look what I have found. It's another Beanstalk off of basic forest. This Spell Pierce is on here. I haven't seen that in our 2 games so far, but the list does sometimes have them. Wow, we're just in there. Multiple beans. Field of the Dead. Cool. All right. I wish I had a blue card for this Force of Will, but I do have many white cards for this Solitude. Field of the Dead's coming. I'm playing on basics. As long as I get something going before they catch up on engines, I'm feeling good here. I played Sultai Beans on the channel a week or 2 ago, and I didn't have any Surveil lands in it. And comments ranged from, do you think Surveil lands would be good here, to where are your Surveil lands, you dumb idiot, basically. And this game, my opponent had to pick up a tap land to daze something, and then replay their tap land. And I mean, they're doing okay, but I don't know how much velocity they lost by doing that. The answer might be none or a lot, but these cards aren't free, even though they are very good. And it's probably right to play 1 in Sultai Beans, but there are spots where it's tricky and maybe bad. Okay, they have unlocked mana number 2, and it is the missing color. Don't have a force for this, unfortunately. All that work. No Force of Will. I'm going to fetch Hedge Maze in this end step. It's time for that to unlock. Hedge Maze. The P-Zone. Get in the zone. Unfortunately, this thing gets dazed after all this work I've done, but it also draws 2 cards. I could just play Uro here that doesn't get dazed. Yeah, that's got to be better. Okay, here comes Uro. I'm at least playing around Daze. The Force of Will's cantrip at this point, but they haven't had a force up to this point. I feel the Dead comes in off Uro. If Uro had drawn a land there, we would have gotten a zombie this turn, but just going to have to settle with this handful of cards. My opponent has 8 cards in hand to my 6, but I have a 6/6 in play that draws cards. They have a Beanstalk, but I have 2. They have 2 lands, and I have 6. I'm ahead on basically all resources here. But like I said, would be sick to have a blue card to go with this force right now. That would make me very comfortable versus just feeling good. They found a land. Here we go. If they have some shit like Leovold, that might be really good. I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I have 3 removal spells for Leovold in my hand. I can only cast 1 in a turn, though. No, I could pitch the Solitude. I could play 2 if I had to. I could also just mush for 6 into their 3/3 and just accept that I'm not drawing extra cards while I do it. Right, they've got Hooties, which resets their graveyard back down to 1 card, which means Murder's Cut and Murktide are off right now. And a 4/4 does not beat a 6/6 in combat. I think they have Bowmasters. That's how I'm choosing to read this. Life from the Loam. Let's go. Target these 2. This is actually huge because Loam not only gives me 3 zombies if this resolves and Uro attacks, but also gives me 2 white sources to fight over Bowmasters with. If their hand right now has Force of Will in it, they have to think really hard if stopping Life from the Loam for 1 turn is worth a Force of Will. Daze. Yeah, I'll pay for that. Okay. Flooded Strand's coming in before combat, because I am going to want to engage with a Bowmaster. And then here I come. Here comes my attack. In for 6. Stifling the Uro trigger. Wow, they are hurting over there, for sure. All of these plays are pretty desperate. I would think with a 7-card hand they'd have more going on than that, but clearly they don't. And I'm fine taking advantage of it while I got it here. Beanstalk number 3. Keep dropping hammers. And I'm going to plow the Hooties. And that's 1 Stifle used. I don't know how many they're going to have, but I don't need to play into it. A Murktide that is not particularly large. I'll fetch now while they can't Stifle, getting the other basic planes. I could have gotten Archive there. It's probably fine. Murktide's only a 6/6. Trades with Uro. I'm not going to dredge Loam in this spot. Multiple Solitudes. I'll just start with Plow. See if that works. Because if they force this, I can hardcast Force on that, and I draw 3, they draw 1. Or they might just miss entirely, and I get to do whatever I want. Attack for 10. Put a land into play. Get another Zombo. Teferi. Okay. I told him if he was bad, he wouldn't be allowed back. I don't think he's going to be bad, though. I don't think I'm actually even going to cast him. I'm going to get in the zone. We'll draw 3 P-Zone. Opponent said it's hard to play without lands. I guess GG anyway. I mean, sure. I don't know. I mean, deck's probably got 19 lands versus my 24. You're a Daze deck playing tap lands. And there was some like unluckiness involved too. There's certainly some variance. They saw a lot of cards without land drops, but I mean, deck's built to play on a low land count. That's how Sultai Beans was devised. I know that because I helped devise it. Like, I was on the ground for that. Okay, Thought Scour, targeting yourself. There's that Hedge Maze back for the 3rd time this game. And they scooped it. Cool. They won the game where they had multiple beans to my 0, and I won the games where we had comparable or I had more beans. Unsurprising. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 2 against a Yorion deck. I'm going to assume this is going to go forever. I'm going to try to just make faster decisions than normal. Okay, Life from the Loam is good. Caracas is good if they're Death and Taxes, but so is Basic Plains. I don't need 2 mono white sources. I'm going to bottom the Plains. If they are Death and Taxes, this controls Thalias and stuff. If they are a blue mirror kind of thing. Okay, this is the Taxes deck. They're going to take Brainstorm, because that's the only card that makes any sense to take in this hand. Black-white Taxes, known current build of Yorion Taxes. Oh, okay. I'm actually going to take this. It is not generally advisable to try to cheese Death and Taxes on resources while you're on the draw. But also, my hand doesn't really do anything else, and they are a 2-color build, and they did lead on a dual land. All right. Yep, Aether Vial immediately makes that play look bad. Prismatic Ending, keep it coming. Oh, Plow Under. They don't know what's in store for them. Solitude, do I want this yet? That's a later problem. Get rid of it. Good card in the matchup, bad card right now. Prismatic Vista, okay. This is why the Wasteland looks bad. I was hoping for, like, if my hand did anything, if I could even cast a Ponder, I would not have, for 1 second, thought about that Wasteland. But my hand didn't do that. Here's this Caracas coming in against the Thalia, which is why I kept it over Basic Plains, which also has facilitated a powerful Ponder that found 2 white removal spells. If they violin Mother of Runes here, that's going to be really tough. Okay, good. The Thalia can come out of the Vial at any time, and if I Caracas it, they could Vial it back down. So there is some play here. Oh, Thoughtseize. Going to take my Swords to Plowshares, I bet. Unless they're worried about the Plow Under. Take you right down under. Wow, they did take Plow Under. Fascinating. Okay. A lot of respect. The correct amount of respect, you could even say. 2 Basic Plains. Okay, by casting Thalia, they're either dancing around Caracas, or they have a Stoneforge Mystic in their hand. Yeah, this is tricky. I think I have to just pass the turn here. If I tap out for Uro and they put in Stoneforge, I'm just getting blasted by that. Okay, they didn't put in Stoneforge, so I did kind of waste a turn here. I'm not going to bounce Thalia yet, because they might still do something that I'd rather Plow, and 2 life's not a big deal. I'm about to gain 3 off Uro anyway. If they find a Wasteland and strip me off green, that could be a huge collapse of my entire life. Right, they played a Plains. Good deal. And Yorion is in the grip now. End step, bounce Thalia. I still think bouncing here is better than plowing. Cool. Okay. What does this do? It gives me 2 lands off Loam. I think I'm just going to play the Loam. I'll get Basic Forest, Life from the Loam, back these 2 lands, leave my options available here. The high roll there was to cast the front part of Uro, and if it hits a land, I could Loam anyway. But if I miss, I'm just in trouble. Recruiter, this card's a nightmare. Their whole deck is now available to them. Canoptic Scarab Swarm, tough beats. They get a 1/1 for each artifact or land. Well, currently 0 of those. They can target themselves, but that doesn't remove Uro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could put 6 1/1 flyers into play here. They could also just bomb my graveyard to keep me off of Uro. Okay, that's fine. I got the 2 cards I needed out of that. Thalia is back. She'll be in your hand in a moment. Don't worry. Boing. Prismatic Ending would be insane here. Endurance, not a good card. Okay, Misty Rainforest comes in. This represents casting Solitude. I think I'm actually supposed to Solitude the Recruiter now, before the Vial even gets to 5. I don't want to play Cat and Mouse, I just want Recruiter gone. There is 1 unknown card in their hand, plus whatever they're about to draw. If they, like, cast Solitude on their turn, and then Yorion and do a bunch of stuff with the Solitude, that's annoying. But I can't let them start looping that Recruiter. The 1/1 flying Endurance does cover eventually. Thalia's back. Yorion in hand. Endurance actually counters the Sprout Swarm, or not Sprout Swarm, Scarab Swarm. I always say Sprout Swarm because that's a card that I know and like, and Scarab Swarm is some nonsense. Do I want to attack? I would have to tap out of Caracas, and then it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, I could still do everything I want to do. All right. Bounce Thalia. And if they just go for Yorion here, I'll plow it. Sick. Okay, what are the flickers? Oh, Solitude. That's so much worse. Okay. Well, I'll plow your Solitude. Okay, so their hand is Yorion, Thalia, mystery card. I'm going to have to be careful with this Endurance, because if they target their own graveyard with Scarab Swarm and get 6 bugs, that's going to be really hard to stabilize against. Okay, they are correctly holding back here. Force of Will. Oh, this is so tight. The basic land mana base actually kind of betraying me here, because I'd love to play this Beanstalk, but I can't because then I lose Endurance. Okay. If they want to go 1/1 beats, I can play that game. They don't have their own Caracas yet, and I do have Wasteland for when they find one, so their Caracas loop isn't that good. Oh, interesting. I probably Force of Will this. This does leave the door open for Yorion to flicker the Swarm while I can't functionally Endurance, but I don't think they're going to make that play. Cool. Nice. Bonus green source. Now I can Beanstalk. Now we're doing stuff. Can I Uro here? Yes. Yeah, there's still a Tropical Island in my deck. A Violent response to Uro. Yorion. Flickered the Swarm as expected. Gain 3 life. Oh, the backup Uro is so nice. Because now I can Endurance myself and I don't even lose an Uro. Fetch for Tropical Island, and I will pass into the end step where they get to Swarm. Who's your target? Targeting me. I'm also going to target me. And this does clear the Uro one way or the other, but this way doesn't give them a bunch of bugs, and these cards are back in my deck for later. Okay. We've entered the end game. For them. Swords of Plowshares, alright. Thalia, mystery card in the hand. I'm just going to F6, conserve my time for games 2 and 3. I'm still at 20 life after all this. They're in for 5. Skyclave Apparition taking my beans. Tough. How about Supreme Verdict? It's in there. I know it is. Okay. I can fetch for Meticulous Archive. Get some extra selection here. Supreme Verdict. Force of Will. Is this a card I want? No. Put that in my graveyard. Uro. Trigger. Their card in hand is Thalia, which means I can bounce Uro here and do this again. I am hoping that they don't draw Caracas this turn and get to exile my Uro. Yo, Prismatic Ending. Okay. Take out the Vial. Okay, now Caracas is a lot worse. It's still good, but it's worse. Yeah, I'm just all in here, slamming my cards in. I have perfect information about their game right now. Shadowy Backstreet. They have a lot of great draws, of course. And they kept a card off Shadowy Backstreet. Bummer. In for 7. Mother of Runes. Okay, that doesn't change that I need Swords to Plowshares. Or Supreme Verdict. Okay, here we go. Start to rebuild the Empire. Supreme Verdict. Supreme Verdict. Misty Rainforest. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This does give me Uro, though. Fetch, Uro. Mystic Sanctuary. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I can't Mystic Sanctuary because then I don't have enough cards. Oh, right. I could get Basic Blades with this one. Couldn't do that with the other one. Here we go. Green, green. Blue. Green. Here is Uro. Big draw. Big draw. Bonder. That could be a Supreme Verdict. Bonder. It's a Solitude and 2 Brainstorms. Solitude not helpful versus Mother of Runes. These Brainstorms are a lot of looks, though. I will keep this. Yeah, they're in top deck mode over there. They have Thalia and whatever card they just drew for the turn. They have flying attackers. They've got blockers on the ground, but I am grinding back. Thoughtseize. This will take my Brainstorm. So I might as well... No, that's not true. I was about to say might as well cast it. They can have this. I draw Solitude. I attack with Uro. Then I have Solitude Brainstorm in hand, and then I can just move forward with my life. Uro, get in there. Draw this Brainstorm. Now they'll have to decide if they just want to take 6 or if they want to put Mother of Runes in danger. Yeah, just take 6 is I believe, the smarter play. Brainstorm. Had another one. Okay. Swords of Plowshares, Solitude. Prismatic Vista is not very good here. Okay, I'm going to put back Vista and Plow and pass the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could cast both of the cards in my hand. And this covers Surprise Nonsense from the hand. Okay, Yorion attacking for 4. I could just bounce this and then force it on the way back down. That sounds busted, actually. Yeah, now I'm ready to answer Yorion, which I wasn't a second ago. That does mean they could Plow Uro, if that's a card that they have. If they drew a removal spell for Uro this turn. Not today. Come on, Magic Online. I'm just trying to play fast and apparently tapped mana that didn't make what I need to cast the spell. Here we go. Yorion's out. Now I'm winning the race, no matter what they do with Mother of Runes. Fetch land. So they drew a 1-drop of some variety. Another mother. Okay. Your mother from another mother. Attack with Uro. They are at 7. Do you want to go to 1, or do you want to start using Mother of Runes proactively? And if they do use Mother of Runes here, they're going to get obliterated. They block. Are you saving it? No. Good call. That was correct. Now double Mothers up. Wow, they're attacking. All right. That's fair. Guess you got to win the game somehow. Scrubland. Their last card in hand is Thalia. And I do have a Mystic Sanctuary left in the deck. After all these years, I'm going to grab Brainstorm with it. And attack with Uro first. Don't put anything into play. Mother of Runes blocking. Targeting itself. Gonna name probably blue. Blue or green. And then I'm gonna plow this mom. Ha 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 ha. Great joke. Wow, they didn't even respond. Fascinating. Alright, Brainstorm. Teferi and Field of the Dead. Let's go. Okay. Put back Vista and Plow. Field of the Dead. Trigger. White, blue, colorless. Teferi's here. Bounce. Skyclave Apparition. Yeah, they must be just F6ing because they're not using their Mother of Runes at all. Okay, cool. Ground them out. The P-Zone. This is what it's for. P-Zone's in. Doorkeeper Thrall, huge in this matchup. Containment Priest, great against Yorion and fine against Aether Vial. Force of Vigor, they got lots of those. None of these other cards are any good. Energy Flux. They do have artifacts in their deck, but not enough to actually play this card. Okay, 5. Back to Basics is out. They do have some non-basics in their deck, and some of them are important, but this card just doesn't do what you need it to. I like having 1 Endurance to loop my deck back in case this gets crazy grindy to the point where I'm going to deck myself. They're a deck that plays 4 Karakas, which means Uro can be a liability. I can play 1 less Force of Will. I do like the card in the matchup. They do have important cards that you might have to interact with early. I'm not taking any white cards out, that's for sure. And now we're at the squeeze. I could go 0 Endurance and just hope that I don't deck myself. Or I could... Plow Under is the correct answer, but I'm not taking it out. I'm going to cast it this league as often as I can. Loam is important against their mana denial. Teferi is medium. It is just kind of a generic answer to whatever, where Endurance is holding a very specific role, which is make sure I can just go buck wild drawing cards early and then still be able to win later. Teferi is a good answer to Cauldron Complete and all that sort of stuff, but I'm bringing in a bunch of stuff like that. And yeah, I think this is fine. I think that the cards I'm bringing in are enough better than Teferi, even though Teferi is fine. I'm going to keep this. Leyline of the Void, okay. That is a card that is in play now. I already boarded out Neuro. Leyline Vial, pretty good start. I'm going to fetch for Hedge Maze here, rather than play the Meticulous Archive, because I want to get these Beanstalks going. End step, Hedge Maze. They missed their land drop. They kept on the strength of Vial plus Leyline, which is strong, don't get me wrong. Reasonable things to keep on the strength of. I'm just keeping that basic land, getting my first Beanstalk down. Plowanda! Looks like Mother. Yep, alright, they do have a Mother. Makes this Plow worse, which is fine, because I was worried about my Plow not being castable right away because my Archive comes in tapped. But now it doesn't matter because they have Mother Runes. If they have a good creature, I'm just in trouble to it. You got me. I could just yeet this Uro, or I could play up the Beanstalk. I'm going to do that. They didn't Bowmaster, that's good news. And I could cast Ponder right now while I'm pretty sure they don't have Bowmaster. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to fetch for Tundra and play Ponder. I'd like to answer this Aether Vial, and there it is. I have done just that. Starting next turn. Okay, here we go. Do you have the Stoneforge Mystic for the beats? Sure looks like it. This game might end quickly. Got a bunch of bad cards on top of my deck right now. I'm going to have to just gain life, tread water, throw an Uro into the void, and just hope that we get there eventually. Thoughtseize, no! Take the Plow Under again. You know it's scary. Took the Prismatic Ending. Damn, I could have stacked to play around Thoughtseize, and I just didn't. Bad, bad, bad. Okay, I think I'm going to go Meticulous Archive to get rid of the life from the Loam that I know is not useful this game. Play the Uro. You're out of here forever. Sorry. Thanks for the life gain. Get Field of the Dead in while I can. That was such a good Thoughtseize. And it only matters if they have 3 drops to Violin, but I mean, here they come. That's how this deck works. If they get like Bowmaster here, that locks out a lot of my ability to dig. Lauren's fine. I don't need all these Beanstalks. I need to stabilize the board. Lauren on the cast, not on the vial. Beanstalk gone. 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Alright, so half my life total. By not vialing Lauren, I partially think they have another 3, and I'm pretty sure they don't have a Bowmaster. Okay, if I put back Plow Under and Wasteland, I actually can kind of do stuff here. Alright, I'm gonna go to the end step. Here's the Aether Vial. I can't afford to Doorkeeper for all this, because I have to plow the Cauldron Complete this turn, and I don't have enough white to do all of it. Flicker Wisp, okay. Plow your creature. Plow your creature again. Yep, Mother of Runes. Showing her worth. I win this game easily if there's not a Mother of Runes in play, but there is, and that's how the deck's constructed. Big attack. Not dead yet. Or I know my top cards. I am dead. Vial in the upkeep. Flicker Wisp. Taking out my green source. Sure. And I am deceased. Alright, yep. Mother of Runes broke it open. Do I have any better answers to stuff like that? No. And Leyline of the Void is in. Good to know. Just hit and submit here. Now I'm on the play where Mother of Runes is less good. Oh, the mono green hand with Doorkeeper Thrall. Got them all this. Oh no. The basic lands are not free. Jesus, that was so shitty. Okay, put back Force of Will and one of the Plows. I think I have to get Island and try to find Plains with these cantrips, and that's going to be my best way to play this game. All right, I'll just snow-covered Plains right on top of the deck. I'll take it. Force of Will in my hand for now. Okay, Mull to 5 sucks. Hand's not bad, though. I will let this resolve because I could plow it right now, get it out. If they do something terrifying this turn, I can force that and then stick Doorkeeper Thrall, and then their creatures are just shitters with stats. Okay, no 2-drop unless it's Bowmaster. I'm just going to pass here. Shitters with stats. That's the game we're playing. Yeah, I'm not going to jam in the Thrall here. I can play Draw Go. I'm happy with that. Even though I am falling behind if they're hitting land drops and I'm not. End step fetch. Bowmaster. I'm going to force the Bowmaster. I think having this auto play, like drawing cards is going to be so essential, and Doorkeeper Thrall stops the ETB ping, but it doesn't stop all my cantrips from hurting me after that. Thoughtseize, well, time to put the Thrall in, and I lose Beanstalk, and then I'm just sitting with Solitude in my hand. God, Mull to 5 in this matchup's so annoying. And the double Bowmaster. Okay. Yeah, Death and Taxes versus Control, historically, I find this massively favored for Control players who know what they're doing at all. And something like Mull to 5 is how this can actually go wrong. Okay, well, I'll just keep drawing good cards, I guess. And pushing damage. Going in. They took Solitude over up the Beanstalk. That's really interesting. They must have thought this Bowmaster was going to just hard carry. Shadowy Backstreet, Bind and Aether Vial. Don't want that anymore. What is this card? Legions to Ash. Okay. Exile target non-land permanent opponent controls and all tokens that player controls with the same name as that permanent. Okay. Just a super weird removal spell, and now I'm going to die. That was my big hit. Just hope that I could blank a bunch of creatures in their hand, but now we're just missing land drops, and if they do anything, I'm in trouble. Like, literally anything here. Just the worst card in their deck. And that's not even the worst card in their deck. That gives them 1 extra bug out of my graveyard. They took the 3 extra bugs out of their own. Alright, let's try to make a game out of this, I guess. Field of the Dead. So far behind now. Not close to casting Supreme Verdict, even if I draw it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On a 2-turn clock, Leyline of the Void, okay. That's why they weren't playing spells. Caracas. Now I am close to playing Supreme Verdict if I draw it. That is the white source I was missing. I do have a draw here to do something that stabilizes. It's there. I got 3 cards over there. I suspect they're reactive. Like, Skyclave Apparition kind of stuff. Yorian's in hand. Come on, deck. Don't be a dick. Zone. Wait, I'm at 1. All right, P-Zone, hard carry. Let's go. Don't have another Bowmaster. All right, we're in the zone. This makes a 2-2 blocker for the Orc Army. I go to 1. I get a 4-4 next turn. See what happens from here. Oh, okay. I just died of Flicker Wisp. Sure. Cool. All right, yeah. Mull to 5. Color screwed for a few turns. That's how control decks lose to death and taxes. On to the next round.
Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic.
I'm on the play for game number 3, and I'm going to keep this hand. Sets up a Beanstalk for 2. Here's this Plow Under, once again chilling, waiting for its day in the sun. Serious deck construction thought, though, after last round. I think if your deck has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands in it that don't cast Ponder or Brainstorm, you probably need some Lawyer and Reveals to smooth that out. Even though our land count is insanely high, even for a Legacy control deck, probably still just want the ability to smooth it out. Uh-oh. A Mountain. Lotus Petal. I can Solitude if I need to. Manamorphose. Oh, wow. Okay. There is a new Mono Red Storm deck built around the 6-drop that makes a bunch of dragons. It's a 6-mana, make a 4/4 red flying dragon Storm. That card's very good. But Supreme Verdict is the type of thing that can help me beat their combo. Okay, we'll see what goes on here. I haven't actually seen these lists in action. I know Phil and Bryant have both played them already. Bright of Flame. That makes 2. Bergie. All right, I can Solitude her, but it'll cost me my Supreme Verdict. I'm just gonna do this. Sucks to get my Supreme Verdict gone, but Bergie, if this is not the deck that wins with a bunch of dragons, if this is like actual Ruby Storm or something, I would rather have Bergie not in play. All right, Ren's Resolve, Ruby Medallion, Jessica's Will. Okay. Storm is 6, 1 card in hand. They're passing the turn with Ruby Medallion and Jessica's Will in hand. No targets for this Wasteland. I could cast Endurance, or I could play Hedge Maze and get some selection. I could cast Endurance even without Hedge Maze. Okay, I'm going to play Hedge Maze. I'll keep that Brainstorm where it is. My shields are down, but this Jessica's Will does need to deliver the goods here. Ruby Medallion resolves. Manamorphose, that's really good. +1 mana, +1 card. Seething Song, oh no. Yeah, they could do this here. Could happen. Jessica's Will, they're going to flip 3 cards. Galvanic Relay, Ren's Resolve. These cards don't kill me this turn, but it's a lot of cards next turn. Resolve. Seething Song, Reckless Impulse. Okay, Reckless Impulse, Burning Wish. Okay, I guess we lost. Yeah, Ren's Resolve is until your next turn. That can be played this turn. Galvanic Relay is only next turn. I'd be surprised if I can beat the Burning Wish here. They could Seething Song up to 5. I guess what does Burning Wish actually do with 3 red mana? Or 4 red mana? Uh-oh. Yeah, they can empty the Warrens here. And I just pitched my Sweeper. Or they might have something way better to do. I don't feel good about it. I have a lot of sideboard for this, though. Past in Flames was the choice for that. Okay, so they're going to try to throw their whole damn deck at me. Relay. Okay, they might be trying to do it next turn, which does not inspire confidence because that's even scarier. All right, Elemental Eruption confirmed. This is the Make a Dragon has Storm card. All right, yeah, that's a lot of stuff. My Sweeper's already gone. The Endurance is really good against Past in Flames, though, if they go in too hard on that. Okay, I'm going to Brainstorm with my White Source. Force blue card, achieved. Wasteland doesn't matter. Put back Flooded Strand, play Misty Raid Forest. Okay, I mean, I could force blue card here and then Endurance their graveyard in response to Past in Flames. Probably not good enough, but here we are. Rite of Flame. Too early to go for that, even though it is worth extra mana here. I'm not going to deny them 1 mana when I could deny them an entire Past in Flames. Ruby Medallion's in. They have another one still in exile. J-Will. They did that one for mana. Makes sense. Seething Song. Just working through the relay pile here. Impulse. Hit a Bitter Reunion. That's another draw 2. Reckless Impulse. Hit Burgie. Shit. Burgie might be where I put my Force of Will. Though, if they have Burgie, or if they do Horn, I probably have to force that. Oh, Elemental Eruption. Yeah, they're just doing that from exile. Yeah, okay. Good call. They don't even need the Passive Flames, they just have me dead with the relay. And me without a Supreme Verdict, because I fought over an early Burgie. And their shit has haste. Alright, yeah, cool. We're done. I get it. I see. Okay, here comes the sideboard. Hydroblast, Pyroblast, Damping Sphere. Force of Vigor is not bad here. I don't think they need to pivot onto black and like filter through Lion's Eye Diamond or Manamorphose to Tendrils me anymore. I'm not a believer in Veil now that the Eruption exists. Surgical might be good enough if I could cut important cards out of their deck, and then Energy Flux is mega slow but does pressure the rubies. Alright, back to basics. Continues not being very good. Swords to Plowshares doesn't matter. It can hit a Burgie, but so can Hydroblast, and if I stop them from comboing, I don't care about that. This is not a Light from the Loam matchup. Oh, Plow Under, I love you so. But I think you're bad. Okay, right now, I have a clear 6 in. I could get 2 more if I want them. Force of Will, obviously. Endurance, we saw Past in Flames and Rite of Flame, so there's at least 2 cards that care about the graveyard here. The Fairy's not very good. Are Energy Flux or Surgical better, though? Because neither of these cards is a banger. But in a game where I, like, counter a Burning Wish and take Burning Wish out of their deck, that's actually really good. But they probably have 3 Eruptions in the main and then Burning Wish for 1 in the board. Prismatic Ending does hit the Ruby itself. Yeah, I think Teferi's probably bad. And I'll get Energy Flux in, and then 1 more space for Surgical. And Plow Under is just, like, a finishing move. But it's so bad up to that point. Sorry, Plow Under. We're in a brutal combo matchup. I love you, but this is not your moment. I'm leaving Solitudes in because they have Burgies and I need to win the game somehow. Keep. Don't turn 1 me. Okay, they mulled a 4, which is obviously better than them having 7. But if they have a desperate, unprotected turn 1 shove of any kind, that they're now kind of priced into doing it. Okay. They Rite of Flamed out a Ruby Medallion. I have to assume Damping Sphere is better than anything else I could do. And I was busy narrating and definitely should have fetched that Hedge Mage that I just drew. I don't want to get randomly Blood Mooned. I don't know if that's a pivot they have, but I'm not going to fall for it. I'm just going to D-Sphere. Then next turn I can remove the Ruby with Prismatic Ending, and then we can play on. Or I might just have to go Burgie. Do I care about Burgie? She gets mopped up in... Alright, yeah, I'm gonna exile the Medallion, and I have all these ways to deal with Burgie, including that one. Yep, white removal, in my hand, chillin'. Ren's Resolve, they get a red out of this, flipped Manamorphose and Reckless Impulse. Can't cast either of those because they cost 3. They're trying, though. Nope, doesn't work. Stop. Untap your land. We did it. Alright, they found the line. Okay, I can draw. I could just Supreme Verdict now, or I could save that in case they do break through somehow. Or I could try to weather another turn. I could just kill Burgie, and then it's really hard for them to do anything. But then Solitude gets a lot worse. I'm going to Hedge Maze. Uro, straight to the graveyard. Love that for me. And, okay, I can save Hydroblast, counter a key spell on their turn, and then Solitude Burgie next turn. I think that's my best long-term plan. The thing that gets the most good exchanges. This might be an F around and find out Burgie is too good situation, or we're doing great. Okay, Manamorphose. This is fine. I think I'm going to Hydroblast the Reckless Impulse, which costs 3 now. Counter target spell if it's red. I choose this one. They got 2 cards in their hand that cost minimum 2 mana. If it's a 0-drop, it costs 2. Right, Ancient Tomb does actually suddenly let them cast a spell if they have one to cast. Doesn't look like it. Okay. I'm going to fetch for Basic Forest. That locks up all of my potential color combinations. And then I'm going to Solitude Birgi. It's doing this on my turn because it just builds Storm if I do it on theirs. Right, they do have a lot of mana, but now I'm going to start attacking. In with Solitude. There's 4 cards in my graveyard. Uro will cost 5 after I Brainstorm, but I have 5, so that's okay. Fetch. Do I want a Mystic Sanctuary? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, for sure. Mystic Sanctuary, target Hydroblast. And then tap out for Uro. Okay, they basically got to kill me this turn. Nope. Alright, yeah, I agree. You're in a bad spot. Alright, now we're on the draw, and they know what hate they need to play against. If the artifact hate wasn't in already, now they know. Yeah, I don't think there's any changes here. These are the cards that I'm choosing to play with. Oh, this hand sucks. I'm going to have to mulligan this. It just doesn't do anything fast enough to do anything in this matchup. This one has the same problem. Gotta send that too. Okay, here we go. Keep this, get rid of Solitude and Basic Forest. Alright, yep. Not pretty, but at least I'm not super dead. Shatterskull tapped. Yep, give me that time. Let me set up. I need it. Misty Rainforest, which is destined for a hedge maze. Ancient Tomb, Ruby Medallion. The Energy Flux to fight over that, perhaps. Ren's Resolve, flipped Leyline of the Void. Okay. Hedge Maze. Force of Will on top. That lets me force something next turn and still stick the Flux. You might say I'm fluxing their game plan up. 4 in the pool. If they like Manamorphose into black to cast Leyline of the Void, that would be phenomenal for me. Okay, another artifact. Still 4 cards in the hand, that's a lot. Alright, well, Horn of Bounty, Hardfell Horn of Bounty, is one of those cards that you counter if you can, because it will kill you. Looks like they have a Pyroblast to protect it. Okay, good job. Now let's see what they can do with 4 flips. They do have to pay for Harnfell and Ruby Medallion. If Energy Flux was ever going to be good in a game against Ruby Storm, it's right now. And they can pay for these things, but either one hurts. If just paying the full tax on all of it. It starts their turn with 0 mana. It's a good spot for them to be in. And it dealt 2 to them. Count it. Another Ancient Tomb. Yeah, they're not hurting for mana here. I was going to say Wasteland would be a great draw here, but now it's not. Brainstorm. Always take a Brainstorm. Force of Vigor. Okay. I think what I want to do here is put back Solitude and Surgical, and then play Uro with the intent to hardcast Force of Vigor next turn. Because I don't want to pitch Uro to this and lose my only chance to actually attack them and win the game. I'm going to hope that this tax, the Energy Flux tax, keeps them from going off for a turn. And then question mark profit. They do have red mana up this turn, though, at the cost of 4 life. Okay, they are flipping to Horn. I could Surgical Lotus Petals and try to deny some initial mana sources, but I don't think that's my stress point. Here comes Birgi, that sucks. And now they have lots of mana to rip through the deck. Oh, devastating. What an insane flip. Yeah, okay, this hurts now. Hurts a lot. Just have to hope that now their plan ends up going through the graveyard somehow, because they are fully out of the bottleneck and doing stuff. A 3rd Manamorphose. Hate my life. Look at this mess. They just have 7 mana now, all of a sudden. After I denied them 4 mana in their upkeep. It's like, yeah, I'm good. Okay, here we go. All these spells are free. Just actual free. Okay, none of these spells kill me, and they got 2 cards in their hand, but they can discard for Harnfell. If they just Pyroblast Energy Flux, that's honestly great, because I set up this Force of Vigor to kill their shit anyway. Alright, Ruby Medallion. 1 card left in hand. What is it? Oh no! Well, I have 1 out here, and it's Surgicaling myself for a shuffle, and hoping I draw the Supreme Verdict, which I can't even cast, so I'm actually on no outs here. Damn, that was a good last card in hand. And they used every single one. I guess they didn't need this Ruby Medallion. That was probably good enough without it. Okay, oh, Pyroblast after the storm is done. That's fine. Moral victory. They could have had one more dragon. Okay, so 9 times 4 is a lot more than my life total plus what Uro can give me. Yeah, I don't even have double white. Is there an out? I don't think there is. I don't have like anything that kills all tokens, like an engineered explosives or any such thing. Nope, they did it. GG. Maybe I effed around and found out with that Force of Vigor line. Like if I Force of Vigor, the Harnfell, and the Ruby Medallion, that turns a lot worse. But then I also build Storm if they just... Like I would wait for them to pay for the things and then kill them both. But then I have no pressure. Solitude is my next draw. And I'm just looking at my deck and hoping to draw anything. Yeah, I think I just needed to fade that turn. And they didn't do anything last turn, so I had a reasonable guess that maybe I would get another turn. But no, that runs resolve into double Metamorphose just broke open the dam, and it was not close after that.
The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. Second through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bazaar Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. On the play for round number 4, I'm keeping my hand. Open for a fair deck, hands full of white removal. Plan is to fetch one of my Surveil lands, depending on what they show me. Basic Island Bauble. 2 Baubles. Delver, okay. So we got the fair matchup we were looking for. They're going to bauble me. Save 1 for yourself. And I'm going to get the Hedge Maze. Playing into Wasteland, whatever. I will actually keep Prismatic Vista there. And then they look at Prismatic Vista. I don't think having that information is important enough to cut your Delver flips in half, because you could target yourself with that second one. And then you have 2 chances to flip Delver, because you get to stack it so you see the card before you decide if you want to draw it or not. But it's dead. It doesn't matter. I'm just not convinced that was how I would use that resource. Though it is more important to look if I keep the Surveil than if I don't keep the Surveil. Because if I graveyard it, you're just looking at a random card on my deck. If I keep it, that tells you what I think is important in the game, which they saw me keep a land and then they wastelanded me. So maybe this is all part of an overall package. Unfortunately for them, I am set up on multiple more lands and they're all basic. Play the Misty Rainforest and pass. I mean, I'm actually not that well set up here because I can't get Meticulous Archive because then I don't have access to green and I don't have access to blue regardless. Yeah, I'm getting a little squeezed here. Played their land before brainstorming. I'm not a Daze deck. They don't need to worry about that. I think if you see Prismatic Vista, Hedge Maze, and Prismatic Ending in a deck, you don't have to play around Daze, just generally speaking. And Portent targeting yourself, you got it. I'm not going to fetch here. I want to give myself the chance to draw an island or a forest so I can put Uro on the stack. And they did shuffle with the Portent. A Ponder, okay. Well, now I can get a basic island and Ponder. Looking for that forest. Not a forest. It is a Brainstorm and potential access to green. It's not basic green, but I will take it. We're building resources here. I can put Uro on the stack next turn. I have their next 3 threats answered with these 2 things plus the Plow on top of my deck. Another Brainstorm. There's a Murktide. I have 2 Plows ready for this thing. I fire 1 in the end step. If they force a will, I'll Brainstorm him into the other one. Swords to Pleshowers. Double Daze would actually be insanely annoying because that shuffles away the backup Plow. Okay. Force of Will pitching, Force of Negation. And now I go to my turn and Brainstorm into the other Plow. And Brainstorm away this Caracas that doesn't do anything.
Put away Caracas, and I'm going to put the other Brainstorm on top of the deck for now and fire this other Plow. If they have a second Force, we could actually be in some trouble here. Wowie, they're in on this plan. All right, down to 1 card in hand, but they do have a real clock. My top card's another Brainstorm, which probably means I have to shuffle. Yeah, I guess I'm just fetching for Tropical Island in the end step here. Yep, don't want to draw these cards. Maybe I'm supposed to fetch in my upkeep just in case they have Stifle, and I could Brainstorm over the top of the Stifle and maybe make something happen. Hello? Yeah, I'll just do this. Bang. Okay, that's gone. I do have this green source just hanging out here, extremely wastable and very important in my plan. I got 2 cards over there. DRC. I got that one covered. Okay, sweet. Starting to turn the corner here. Get control of this situation. The Murktide with double Force back up. Always a scary thing. They are welcome to daze this Uro if they want. Another Uro. I'm not close to casting Uro on the backside, though, because of all these basic planes. Okay, just rammed out land number 5, which makes me think they have Force of Will in their hand. Ooh, the Plow under. I'm just going to jam another Uro. Pad up my life total. See if it hits a land. Okay, Brainstorm plus Ponder is the plan next turn. Looking to smooth out these land drops so Uro is actually castable. Fetched once in their upkeep. Getting that sweet, sweet thinning value, I guess. Endurance, that card's really good. Ponder, find me my basic forest, please. Nope, no chance. I'm actually going to shuffle this. This just doesn't do anything that I need done. Shuffle. Hey, the basic forest. Down and dirty, didn't even have to fetch for it. Speaking of fetching, if they crack this Misty Rainforest, I'm playing Endurance right now. Okay, Seek the Beast. So this is a thing they have. Interesting. I could Endurance now and make graveyard stuff a lot worse. I could just force this. Or do I want to try to wade through all the things they're going to do? I think I just want a Force of Will to Seek the Beast. And now they've tapped out a Force of Will. I'm going to Endurance them before they can untap and Murktide me. That was the biggest decision of the game, for sure. Okay, Unholy Heat while they still had Delirium, and now they're Hellbent. Plow under, it's your time! Oh, they have a Ponder. Luckily, I just took them off Murktide. Please fetch, please fetch, please fetch. Make this Plow under nutso. Ugh. Yeah, I could cast Plow under, but it's really, like, I would have to target the fetch land. They are Hellbent right now. Yeah, the issue is that they can just fetch and shuffle, and they don't care if they have 6 lands in play or 4. Yeah, I kind of want to catch them in a nastier spot than this with Plow under. And now multiple fetches. Awkward. Yeah, I need to find an island so I can cast Uro. Right, they're still fetching. The Tropical Island, I suspect they're probably out of fetchables at this point. So Plow under might even be doing them a favor. All right, go to my turn, draw, Ponder. We take those. Life from the Loam and back to basics. My goodness. Okay. Well, I believe I want the Life from the Loam now. We've got Hedge Maze, Misty Rainforest, and Flooded Strand in there. Nice. Okay. Flooded Strand, get in. And I'm definitely casting... I can cast Uro next turn. Back to basics. They have a lot of mana available right now. But it could start a slow decline. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if they hardcast Force on Uro, then I slam back to basics. That's kind of nuts. Misty Rainforest. I have to fetch basic island here. Okay, green, green, blue, blue. Uro's on the stack. Uro resolves. I am unlikely to cast back to basics this game. Not until they start doing stuff. Flooded Strand to the graveyard off Hedge Maze. And here we are. Cool. They gave up. Uro's too good. Yeah, the mana base of this deck, supporting Field of the Dead causes a bunch of other problems. We've made a bunch of zombies off Field of the Dead in the league, which have been powerful. But also, I think it's more important to get your Uros online, and having 6 or 7 lands in the deck that don't cast Uro is really tough. Okay, this matchup. Blue Blast coming in, Carpet of Flowers coming in. I don't really like Veil of Summer just for Force of Will stuff. I would bring it in versus Grixis, probably not versus Teamer. The P-Zone is a maybe. I just really don't like back to basics. Even against a deck where 5 of their 6 mana producing lands are non-basic, I still just don't think this card is that good. I can lose a couple of Force of Wills. We're upgrading those. And the Plow Under is obviously what should come out, but I'm going to give it a chance. That was a negative showcase of Plow Under. I had it and could cast it, and it may have actually helped my opponent more than hurt them. And it wouldn't hurt them that bad. Awkward. Okay, I can cut Caracas here. It is a land and a white source versus a deck where their plan is to deny my mana, where my white cards are the most important. But it's also just a non-basic that has... It can save my Uro from removal, but they're a red deck. They're not going to be removing it very well anyway. I think I'd rather keep 2 forces in than any of this other stuff. I'm trying it like this. Maybe I'm just supposed to straight up have as many white sources as I can in my deck. But I like fiddling with these numbers while I'm here playtesting. Obviously can't keep this hand versus Delver. This one's much better. Keep... Oh, maybe I was supposed to board out a Wasteland, actually. Not the Caracas. Yeah, I think that's actually better, because you almost never want to waste a Delver deck. That's part of the super late game where, you know, if you have Loam going and Uro attacking, you could slowly deny their resources, but you're never just going to, like, cack off a Wasteland on the draw. The opponent went to 6, and they have Land Bauble. They targeted me with the Bauble. More interested in information than card selection. There's a bunch of white removal spells and a cantrip. I like it. Okay, Swords of Plowshares in my hand. Prismatic Ending my next draw. Brainstorm under that. Volcanic Island, go. Plains, go. They've got a Brainstorm. They did not shuffle the Brainstorm. Fascinating. Delver of Secrets. That's got a Prismatic Ending with its name on it. I'm just going to draw the Brainstorm, play my land. I don't need to really do anything yet. End this prismatically. Ooh, a fetch. What are we doing? Flusterstorm doesn't do it. Daze doesn't do it. Brainstorming for a Force of Will. Really worried about this. And it worked anyway. I can cast a Ponder here. These are all fresh cards. Life from the Loam, access to basic forest. I like these a lot. Yeah, next turn I can Brainstorm, fetch, play Loam, and just have a handful of juice. Okay, they're on the multi-Delver spam strat. I'm going to plow one of them. I understand that this gives up one of my good answers to Murktide Regent, but I think I can live in that world. Forest. I could get another island here or another plains. I don't think I want 2 plains with Uro looming. Yeah, I'm actually just going to play Island Uro here. I can gain the 3 life that this Delver might do. If they want to daze the front half of Uro, I'm always fine with that deal. If they have like a Surgical to strip my Uros, that's a 2-for-1 for me. And they're down to 1 card in hand. Yeah, casting Loam there puts 2 cards in my hand, but neither of those cards answer threats. Ooh. I am... Do I put this in? That could be a Swords to Plowshares later. I am not going to put this in. Because the Loam gets me straight into the Mystic Sanctuary. There's not even any doubt of how long it'll take me to find another island. It's next turn. It's happening. Okay, here we go. Just the most important thing to do is make sure you don't die to some shit. And in the case of this matchup, some shit is Murktide Regent, and holding back this Mystic Sanctuary, even if it takes me 1 or 2 turns to set up, just knowing that I can answer a Murktide Regent and I won't just get coast-to-coast clowned by it is a big deal. Brainstorm is very good here. Counterbalance. All right, that card's really good. And they did stack cards on purpose with the Brainstorm. I'm going to start with Life from the Loam. I doubt they put a 2 there. It's probably a 1. I'm going to play the land that can fetch Hedge Maze, and I'll pass. I can end step fire a Brainstorm into the counterbalance to see what they stacked up. And if it resolves, this is just a great Brainstorm. And if it doesn't resolve, I know what's on top for counterbalance. It smells like a Murktide, though. Oh, yeah. Trust your sniffer. Murktide it is. Delver is attacking. I'm going to Brainstorm now, in case it resolves, and in case it hits a Swords to Plowshares. Might as well. All right. Revealed Lightning Bolt, and that is the Lightning Bolt that I've seen already. Got their free counter. Good job. Oh, I actually can't fetch fetch Hedge Maze. I have to go to my turn and fetch Tropical Island because that Wasteland is there. Not Dredging Loam. Okay. Fetch Tropical Island. And right now, before they can waste me, Mystic Sanctuary targeting Swords to Plowshares. Now they're wasting in response. That doesn't change my play. The criteria for having 3 islands has already been met. And Uro's on the stack. Their top card is Lightning Bolt. That doesn't counter Uro and doesn't counter the Force of Will. They revealed it anyway, just letting me know. Okay, Uro, trigger. We've got at least 1 land to put in. And there's the Swords to Plowshares. Now it's going to be about sneaking this Plow through the counterbalance, which is a potent weapon. But I got Brainstorms and Ponders to test the waters with. Okay, Brainstorm in response to this. I currently don't know their top card. Neither of us do. Nice. Swords to Plowshares. Right now, while it's a 2. Their hand is Lightning Bolt, 1 mystery card. If their mystery card's another Brainstorm, I have to force it. Nice. Okay, cool. I'm feeling good. And I'm going to put back these 2 lands and probably Dredge Loam next turn. And the race is on. Me taking 3 damage per turn, or them taking 6 damage per turn, and me taking 0 damage per turn. That race favors me. I'm not a math whiz, but I think that's true. Is 6 bigger than 0? Dredge Loam and cast Loam. They might have a 2 on top. They showed me counterbalance twice here, but I'd at least like to know that before I cast up the Beanstalk. Top card, it's Lightning Bolt. You don't have to reveal for counterbalance, but they have every time. So they've been giving me a lot of information that I did not earn here. Or they didn't have to give me. Okay, Petty Theft after I've drawn a card. Oh, okay. This is getting weird. All right, so the trigger is already happening. Put in this Tropical Island. And then there's a 1 on top. So 1, 2, 3, Uro. Gain this life back. Put out this Flooded Strand. Yeah, my Surveil lands are still live here. There's another basic forest in the deck. Play the Beanstalk. Cool. And now I have a Solitude. Run out this basic Plains. Okay, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good here. They're going to need just a miracle smash with counterbalance somewhere along the line here. But I have 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s that they have to care about now. And my Supreme Verdict's still in my deck somewhere. The end of turn, I'm going to fetch the Meticulous Archive. I have enough green to play on. I would like to build out my white. I know there's a Lightning Bolt in their hand. Uro. I'll put this in the graveyard. It's fine. I don't think a second one in hand's really doing me any good. Not Dredging Loam. Okay, Ponder. Yeah, let's just test the waters. Ponder. What's you got over there? Counterbalance. It's a 2 on top. Wasteland, not bad. Prismatic Ending, very good. Okay, Solitude back. Wasteland, Prismatic Ending. Don't shuffle, don't Dredge Loam. Green, green, blue, blue. Escape Uro. I could probably be exiling my graveyard a little smoother than this. I'm just trying to get the game won at this point. A Pyroblast would be pretty good here. Oh, okay, they do have one. I'm going to force Pyroblast before they get to Surveil and get rid of this 2-drop. Because they do have Force of Wills in their deck. They're probably going to Surveil away Counterbalance. It's gone. And do they have a 3 to reveal? They don't play very many of them. It's a land. We're in business. Uro's back. Trigger. Put in Wasteland. Take you off 1/3 of your mana. I can take them off red entirely next turn. White. Green. I'm going to get rid of this counterbalance right now while it's not doing anything. And I still have a land drop to make. Bang. Feeling good. Counterbalance answered. Their hand is Lightning Bolt, Polluted Delta. Now it's just Lightning Bolt. I got 28 cards in my deck. Decking, I think, is the only way they can reasonably win here. Maybe something like Price of Progress could get me if I get sloppy. Okay, they fetched. And they're just main phasing Brazen Borrower. You got it. Before I can hardcast Force, that's a reasonable time to do that if you're going to do it anyway. I already know your hand is Lightning Bolt. You're not bluffing anything. Yeah, main phasing, that makes a lot of sense. Hydroblast, love it. I'm not going to die to Price of Progress. Here come the beats. I'll put Flooded Strand onto the battlefield. I might be out of fetchables. No, I think there's a Tundra still in my deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Solitude. Drawn another Solitude.
endgame is fully functional here. I'm taking out Delver. It's both bigger and has better text than Brazen Borrower. Lightning Bolt can kill Solitude, that's fine. I got more where that came from. Fetch. Yes, there is a Tundra left. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're done. Okay, cool. Yeah, out-controlling Delver. You get an engine online, you get a few basics in play. Delver should be a really good matchup for this style of deck, even though this particular build of the deck with kind of some goofy cards that don't matter in the matchup, and then all the colorless lands that are wastable, or it's harder to get Uro going. Even with all those things holding back this particular build, still positive against Delver. Let's go, one more round.
The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop.
I'm on the draw in the final round versus another Yorion strategy. Their username is Orzhov Control, and that is what Death and Taxes is. It would be weird to play against that twice in a league after not seeing it for months. But, okay. Had to mulligan my first hand. Stuff just wasn't reliable enough. This is a big decision. I am going to force this. This puts my hand into a weird spot, but we saw what Aether Vial can do in our earlier league, and sometimes they even keep a hand on the strength of Aether Vial that doesn't even do anything else. And sometimes they have 2 Aether Vials and you got him deterrocked by a mono-white deck. Okay, I'm getting Hedge Maze and hoping to see an up the Beanstalk. Endurance, not important to this matchup. It's gone. Another Endurance. Just can't get away. Okay. Meticulous Archive is my next fetch target. Not playing around Wasteland here. I have more lands than they have Wastelands. Life from the Loam's in my deck somewhere. Thalia, okay. She's annoying, but also fine. Fetch the Archive. My plan is to play Uro, trigger Uro, put in Wasteland, waste the Caracas. Life from the Loam. Hello, I love you. Do I want this in the graveyard? No, I'll put it on top. That will make sure I don't get completely locked out of the game and unable to play it. Uro trigger. They can't plow Uro right now because of their own Thalia. Wasteland the Caracas. It's a little awkward because they play 4 of those, and I may have just unlocked a card in their hand, but also the Yorion looping Caracas endgame, Uro being my win con, Caracas just shouldn't be in play. Wish I had my own Caracas, though. Wasteland, bummer. Oh, this actually is devastating. If I don't draw a land, I can't even cast the Loam to start the chain. Come on, deck. We play 24 of them. Alright, always had it, never worried. Magic's easy. Alright, slurp them up. Please don't have Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, these cards are back. Thalia actually doing good stuff this game. She frequently doesn't versus a deck like Bank Control that has so much mana and so much removal and reasonable creatures of its own, but yeah, she is actually providing a reasonable squeeze here. I can cast Uro this turn, though. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Dredge Loam and shove Uro. We've seen the tutor for the Scarab Swarm line. Oh, god damn it. Well, I have a Caracas, or a Wasteland in my hand. Critter the Guard. Okay. Had this straight up. What's it getting? They are getting the Scarab Swarm. It's going to be a turn too late, but their deck's full of removal. Alright, Dredge Loam. There's 2 Uros in there now. Perfect. Fetch. I need a blue source here. Yeah, there's not a spell in my graveyard that I actually want right now. Then Uro, green, green, blue, blue. I'm going to exile the lands because the Scarab Swarm triggers off of those. Uro trigger. Put out Wasteland. Get rid of your second Caracas. 2 down, 2 to go. This Aether Vial remaining a problem. I tried to fend it off. I forced one. They had a second one. It's the only thing keeping them in this game at this point. But keeping it in their game like a fox, it is very good here. Skyclave Apparition. Yep. Uro's gone. So's the one in my graveyard. Down to 1 Uro in the deck. And 5 damage coming through. If they let me untap, I suddenly have Endurance available to save this Uro and provide a body. Okay. We got there.
I have to play Archive to turn on Solitude for the future. Basic Plains, leave that on top. Could be useful. Okay, I'm passing the turn. They did miss their land drop, which means they can't actually get Yori into their hand, but the second they do, it's going to be really good. Okay. File on 4 is being activated. Swarm and Norman is here. They are targeting themselves. Yeah, they just want more bugs than I want to give them, and I want to give them 0. Endurance is also the biggest creature in play by a lot. If they hit the land here and just wish for Yori and activate Vial, I'm way behind. If I get even a turn to dig, if I can clear this Vial, Spirit of the Lab, okay. That makes Ponder worse, but it's not a land. Okay. How do I want to do this? Well, now Solitude's up, which means that if they reach for Yorion, I can at least Solitude the Recruiter of the Guard and handle the worst part of the Yorion loop. But if they just keep bricking on lands, that's great for me. If they draw Swords to Plowshares and tap out to Plow Endurance, that's awesome. Okay, now I have a real decision to make. I think I'm going to Solitude the Spirit of the Lab, so I can try to ponder my way into an answer to Aether Vial. That's the biggest decision that I've made this game so far. Plow under. Oh my god. And it is almost good here. If, this is such a big if. If I take the Plow under, there's Thalia in play, I can't just jam it now. If they miss on land again, I think the Plow under Shadow Realms them. If they don't miss on land, then the Plow under does nothing and they're fully Yorion pilled. I think I have to shuffle this. Shuffle the deck. Karakas bounces Thalia at least. Karakas? Yeah, let's get Thalia out of play. And then Ponder costs 1, and now my cantrip chains are better. Ponder. Come on, Prismatic Ending. Ooh, Plow, Force. Okay, I'll take the Plow. I think this is good enough that I can stop. And do I want to Loam the Wasteland? I don't think so. I have a land drop to make. This can attack now. Sick. Alright, we got in for damage. And the Plow lets me answer the Recruiter of the Guard, which is the scariest part of the Yorion. So this was good enough to stop at, even though I'd rather remove Aether Vial. Athalia's in. I have another Plow on top. If I end step Plow, that's enough for Uro to eat. And I'm going to target Thalia because she's the one holding back Solitude from attacking. Okay, here's Plow. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Green, green, blue, blue. Uro has rejoined the party. Force of Will in my hand. Not castable at the moment. Whole squad's coming through now. Time to apply pressure. Put on the gas. Now I'm way less worried about Yorion. It still answers Uro and is kind of a big creature. But I have Recruiter of the Guard covered. And I'm pushing a ton of damage if they mess up. Or it doesn't even answer Uro because I can save it from Skyclave with Karakas. Nice, okay. Well, clutch Wasteland against Death and Taxes. Took them off 2 lands, and then I lose if they have 3 later down the road. They drew 4 that game. Woof, okay. Doorkeeper Thrall get in here. Force of Vigor come in. P-Zone come in. Containment Priest come in. Oh, my opponent seems to have just conceded the match. I got my rewards for going 3-1. Okay, I guess opponent didn't want to do that again. Well, a 3-2 record. Losing to Storm and Death and Taxes. Ruby Storm, even. Cool new Ruby Storm. I think I laid out what I do and don't like about this list pretty well throughout the league. Unfortunately, we never even cast Plow Under. I only boarded it out for 2 games. It was games 2 and 3 versus Storm. And I had it in my hand versus Delver. And I couldn't I could cast it, but it wasn't good. And then Death and Taxes, I was 1 mana short of ending the game on the spot if I could cast it. So it never actually was put on the stack throughout this entire league, which is a huge bummer because that's kind of, the card we were playing to play around. But last time I recorded with Plow Under Beans, there were multiple Plow Unders. It was really in on that plan. And my suggestion was back down to 1. It'll be good when it's good. You can shuffle it away or don't have to have it rotting in your hand when it's bad. And I mean, that's kind of the point of playing a fun of. You just, sometimes it's good, and when it's not, you get rid of it. And we saw that play out on the, unfortunately, not exciting for content direction, but the good play direction. I think back to basics sucks. If you're going to play this card at all, put it in your sideboard, bring it in the matchups where it's good, because there are very few matchups where it's good. Up the Beanstalk, only 3 of these. I think you just got to play 4, especially if you're doing fun stuff like Plow Under. Probably the second main deck Endurance can just be Plow Beanstalk number 4, and you're just already happier. My real push-pull concern about the deck, though, is what you have to do to support Field of the Dead is all at the expense of actually playing the spells in your deck. Just for all of these cards get harder to cast because you want to put this card in your super endgame package. And Field of the Dead did come up. It was good when it came up. It always is. But having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lands in the deck that don't cast Brainstorm or Ponder. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands in the deck that don't cast Uro. Not casting Brainstorm and Ponder actually hurts your mana base because you want to keep 1-landers and use your cantrips to get through it. But you can't do that if 8 of the lands in your deck don't cast your cantrips. But we either have to back off the basic plains and the wasteland, probably one of each. Like 1 forest, 1 plains, 1 wasteland, and then more duels. Or we need to play a bunch of Lorien Revealed, so a functionally colorless land or off-color land can become an island easily. Those are the options there, but as constructed, I think this is a little messy. Surveil lands were sick, though. 2 felt like the right number. And Ban Control still putting up positive records, despite all these concerns I have about the list. Michael, thank you for sharing this with us. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.